a lot, and should also be a danger sign to those of you who don't see the problem here. Meantime, back in Georgia, some of the local media is attacking me for saying the prom is wrong, and Governor Sonny Perdue should be ashamed of himself for not taking a public stand against it. Now, we're used to being attacked here, but it's discouraging. There's no way I should be driving this story from New York City. The Georgia media should be all over it. They are not. The prom itself is a small story in the scheme of things, but the lack of leadership on the part of the Georgia power brokers is anything but small. What are black Americans supposed to think when 18% of U.S. casualties in Iraq were black soldiers, and a couple of weeks later, an all-white prom is allowed to go unchallenged? Come on. This kind of exclusionary garbage is unacceptable at a public school. The sad truth is that millions of Americans of all colors simply don't want to associate with people different than themselves. And they have a constitutional right to that desire. But a public school event, a prom, organized within the school, is not a personal choice. It is a celebration of achievement and advancement, and to exclude some students because of skin color is mean and un-American. And responsible leaders have a duty to make that known clearly and in person. What say you, Governor Perdue? We'll have more on this with Georgia radio talk show guy Neil Boortz coming up. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, celebrity lawyer Mark Geragos trying to save Scott Peterson's life, even though Peterson can't pay him. So what strategy will Geragos embrace? Joining us now from San Francisco is criminal defense attorney John Burris, and here in New York at her Court TV studio, anchor and trial attorney Lisa Bloom. All right, based upon what you've seen so far of Geragos, he's been very active, outspoken. What do you think he's going to try to do, Lisa?
Well, I think he was hired because he's a TV lawyer, and there's nothing wrong with that. I am one too, but I think he was hired both for his media savvy and his legal knowledge. So I'm going to look for a two-pronged approach here. In the media, we've already seen Geragos using the word innocent over and over, both out of his own mouth at press conferences and getting Scott Peterson's parents to go in front of the microphones and insist that their son is innocent. In court, I'm going to expect him to attack the police. We've already seen a little bit of that on Monday, saying that they used voodoo tactics. Also, I'm going to look for a change of venue motion. I think he's already setting that up by going after, of all things, the media.
Okay, Mr. Burris, how do you see it?
Well, I don't disagree with that. I think it's very important at this point in time that he be very aggressive in distracting attention away from his client. And he can do that by attacking the police, attacking the level of investigation that's taken place, show that by using all these unusual tactics in terms of investigation, it's pretty clear that there was not substantial evidence associated with him to this crime early. Now, that doesn't mean it's not later, but certainly he wants to show that there was unusual activity on the part of the police and that there really isn't evidence here that of a substantial nature that can prove it. Now, it is a risky proposition to claim that your client is innocent at this stage, but I think it's important for him to develop this strategy to have the attention away from his client and have the jury, because it's really about the jury pool, and the public as well, but the jury pool. He wants people to pause and think that maybe there isn't the kind of evidence that's there, and if the police had to resort to voodoo and all this other kind of evidence, that maybe they didn't have
but
evidence.
That's his word, voodoo. I mean, we're not giving that any credence at all. I mean, you know, he can say whatever he wants to say.
Well, absolutely, and in addition to that, Bill, he's really talking out of both sides of his mouth because he's argued for sealing of the very documents that would show what the police have, and the courts have upheld that. Those documents are sealed, so we in the press don't know what the police have. We know that there's 30,000 pages of documents, but Geragos will go in front of the cameras and say the police tactics are voodoo tactics supported by what? Those very sealed documents, so nobody can refute what he's saying.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't mind that the media doesn't have access to the. I don't want this case tried in the media, and I'm just appalled by some of the programs, the news programs that are spending hours on speculation.
Well, but I think his problem is, though, that there's been so much negative press toward his clients. He has to do something now since he's been hired. He's a well-known lawyer, so he's got to show his clients and his family that he's prepared to be aggressive and attack the side.
But it really didn't have any. But in the end, all this theater, and that's what it is, theater that Geragos is engaging in, doesn't really have any bearing on the case, because basically the evidence the police have will be presented to the jury. Geragos will be able to challenge it. But you know what I think he's going to do? And Lisa, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think he's going to do what they did in the O.J. Simpson case. He's going to try to put the police on trial here.
Well, I think he may do that, but he also may do, Bill, what he did to his client's disadvantage in the Winona Ryder case, and that is overpromise. You'll remember after Winona was arrested, Geragos went in front of the cameras and said there are receipts to show that she purchased those items, that she was only taking them between departments. Now, we know that Winona ultimately was convicted of shoplifting, and Geragos overpromised what he was going to do at trial. In this case, he said he's going to prove Scott Peterson's factual innocence and find the real killer. I doubt he's going to do either one of those two things.
Well, you know, I think he hired O.J. Simpson to find a real killer.
On those golf courses of Southern California, I guess, Bill.
All right, Mr. Burris, what do you say?
I think it's a mistake to promise stuff that you don't have to promise. He doesn't have to prove anything other than his client hasn't been proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Though.
When you do it that way, you really hurt your client.
This is what you lose credibility.
This is what I think about Garagos. And if I were Peterson, I would not have hired the man. And I think the Winona Ryder case would have got me off that in a hurry. But Garagos, he goes on Larry King and he smashes the guy. I mean, he smashes this guy, and then he turns around. So he had a lot of credibility with the American people. I mean, they know he's a circus performer out there, and the big top is the courtroom. But the problem is that, number one, he's taking the case pro bono. He's not going to get paid on his $500, $600 an hour fee. And number two, by taking it this way and making it a media trial immediately, he does turn it into a circus. All right? I'll give you guys some summation time. 20 seconds. Mr. Burris, go.
You know, I really think that he has to do something very aggressive right now. And it may be he's all of that, media, et cetera, but I do believe the man has some talent, and I think that talent is going to come through in terms of his assessment of the evidence. I would change the strategy if I were him at this stage.
Lisa?
People dislike lawyers because they think that we are slick, and when a lawyer overpromises, not only does he lose credibility, but it casts doubts on our system of justice. And I think that's the big problem that Garagos is going to face in this case.
Going to be a very, very well-watched trial. Again, we will do it in a very methodical, factual basis. No speculation in the no-spin zone. Counselors, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Next on the rundown, a terrible hazing incident in Illinois captured on videotape. Where do you hear this? And then more evidence that sex professor in Kansas is completely out of control. We'll be right back.
Talking Points is brought to you by Cadillac. Bold vehicles defying convention.
Dream was to have the financial freedom to give up his big city medical practice for a small group of patients who needed him more in a place where doctors are all too scarce. So I embraced that dream with unwavering attention and made it my own. Because helping people realize dreams is what I do at Morgan Stanley, one client at a time.
From now on, long-distance, local, and high-speed internet will be together. Voice and data networks for companies large and small will be together. The innovations of one of the world's largest internet providers and the simplicity of one global network will be together. Together, under one name. MCI.
Now may be the best time ever to buy a Carrier heating and cooling system. Introducing Cool Cash, where you can get a rebate of up to $600 on qualifying new Carrier systems. Call 1-800-CARRIER for a participating dealer.
Malcolm's family has a lot to be thankful for, but this week, you'll be thankful.
She's having our baby right now! I'm coming home!
All new episodes of Malcolm this week on Fox.
The Impact segment is brought to you by Fidelity Investments, because you're not just invested, you're personally invested.
In the Impact segment tonight, every year at Glenbrook North High in Illinois, there is a football game between junior and senior girls. This year, that game got completely out of hand. 5 girls ended up in the hospital, and others were splattered with mud, paint, and feces, if you can believe it. Officials say about 100 students were involved in this incident. And it's a hazing kind of deal. And there will be legal action, both criminal and civil. Joining us now from Chicago is Sam Horlick, a senior at Glenbrook North, who witnessed the incident, and WFLD reporter Lilia Chacon. All right, Sam, we'll begin with you. You went to this game to watch these ladies play football, and then what happened? How did it degenerate into this?
Well, Bill, it's not really a football game. It's more of an initiation for the girls from junior to senior year because we're graduating in a month. And usually it's more of just like they have different things to pour on the girls. They show up, the seniors kind of are there for a while, and then they call the juniors and they show up and they get dumped with this stuff, the different, like you said, different foods, and you said feces. I believe there was urine, I'm not sure. But, well, what happens is they show up and they get covered in this stuff, and this year it just got out of hand.
Well, how does it get out of hand? I mean, there's a difference between dumping stuff on people and sending people to the hospital. So how could it get out of hand?
Well, what happened was, I mean, like they said, some alcohol played a role in this, and some girls just got a little vicious, and I guess they ran out of stuff, and they started throwing buckets and hitting, and girls started getting hurt, and
really?
it kind of shocked everyone.
Now, I hear there were 2 kegs of beer at this event. Is that true?
Yeah. What happens is the juniors pay for it, and they pay $40 each, and they sign a waiver saying that they volunteer to do this. Our senior girls did it last year, and the same thing happened. It's just that this year...
But why would any junior girl put themselves through this? What's in it for them? It's not a sorority or thing, is it?
It's more of like a rite of passage, and then they, as seniors, get to do it to the juniors the next year.
But you have to volunteer to be abused.
Yes.
And then oh, I get it. So if you're abused as a junior, then you can be the abuser as a senior.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. This is pretty disgusting, Sam, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. This year, I wasn't there last year, but I mean, usually it doesn't get out of hand, and I guess this year things
well, anybody
just got
throwing
crazy.
urine and feces at people, that's out of hand. All right, Lilia, you went to this high school, and this has been going on for a long, long time, and it seems to me that this shouldn't go on at all.
I have to say it used to be a more innocent kind of thing, and there really was a touch football game involved, and I think the worst that things ever got was like an egg fight. But to answer your question, why these girls at this age, they're so desperate to belong, Bill. They really want to be a part of a clique, of a group, of the in crowd, and I think that kind of was the root of the interaction. And the girls that I talked to yesterday was simply shocked that people they knew, people they considered their friends, people that they had gone to prom with, had turned on them in such a vicious manner.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple of broken bones here, and you know, real violence.
Piercings ripped out, scalps opened up, broken ankles. A vegetarian girl was choked with a pig intestine. So really deliberately cruel things were done to these girls.
All right, so what are the police going to do?
Well, first of all, the jurisdiction, this falls into the Cook County Forest Preserve Police jurisdiction. So because it happened at a park space at Grant and Lee in Northbrook. So they are reviewing the videotapes. They are considering the charges. They're telling me that the charges could come as early as tomorrow. They won't get into whether it's going to be assault or battery or aggravated this or that.
All right, now the principal of the school, we called up the principal. Of course, they, you know, hiding under their desk and all of that. But it seems to me that if there's a tradition of this kind of stuff, granted, it got out of hand this year, but, you know, there were probably, I would stake my life on it, there were boos before this year. And you know, you really lighten a powder keg here, and the principal looks like he's looking the other way.
Well, they're very clearly trying to make sure that nobody thinks this is their jurisdiction, but the girls did wear the jerseys to school that had the powder puff, the date, and the place on them. Everybody knew this was going to happen.
I mean, it's an annual rite of passage. It gets organized within the school, just like the white prom. It's almost a similar thing. It gets organized within the school, then they go off school grounds to do the debauchery. And, you know, that's no excuse. The principal knows what's going on. I mean, how long ago were you at that school? It's been going on for...
I don't want to tell you how long, but long enough. Again, it doesn't seem to be this vicious, but it's this kind of social dynamic of wanting to belong in a high school that's very competitive.
I mean, it's you know, hey, Sam, is this going to be condemned by the students, or are they all snickering about it?
Well, you know, some of the juniors and seniors I see in the hall getting along now. Others are still bickering. It's just all confusion right now at school.
Yeah, it'll be more confusing when the cops start to bust the kids and then the civil lawsuits start flying. Mr. Cohen, Sam, thanks very much. We appreciate it. The Factor will continue in a moment with an update on that sex professor in Kansas. This is college. We go from high school to college. More outrageous testimony about what this guy is doing in the classroom. You're not going to believe it. And that's up next.
This program is brought to you by Sir Speedy, your one source for printing, copying, and digital document sources.
Business.
E-business.
Sir Speedy Printing.
SirSpeedy.com.
Face-to-face.
Online interface.
Personal.
Productive.
Local.
Global.
Very human.
Very modern.
Easy.
Easy.
Sir Speedy.
Either way.
It's been tough lately, but you stay the course.
Because to you, investing is a journey.
And like any journey, the time comes when you gotta ask directions.
But who are you going to ask?
Who are you going to ask? Some stranger standing by the economic roadside?
You want to ask someone who's made this trip thousands of times before.
The last thing you want to hear on this trip is, hey, are we lost?
Being in control of your financial future has never been more important. Call 1-800-FIDELITY for a comprehensive portfolio analysis today.
Yeah, look what Daddy's got, huh? Yeah. Look, watch Daddy. It's so good. Nummy, nummy. Look, it's good. Daddy likes it. It's good. Whew. That's good.
At least you can count on the Toro Time Cutter Z mower, the most amazingly maneuverable Toro ever.
There are a lot of reasons to talk life insurance with Prudential Financial. After all, we've been growing wealth and protecting it for 125 years, with hundreds of offices all over the country, where we offer professional one-on-one advice to help you find the coverage you need at a price you'll like, all from a name you know and trust. Talk to the people with more than $1 trillion of life insurance in force today. Prudential Financial, growing and protecting your wealth.
Spring on over to HSN.
Drips driving you nuts? From a simple clog to a not-so-simple plumbing problem. Roto-Rooter is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From a possessed water heater to a neurotic waste disposer. And of course, the work is guaranteed.
Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain.
Factor follow-up segment tonight. We've been telling you about Professor Dennis Daly, who teaches sex courses at the University of Kansas and who has outraged the state legislature so much that it voted to cut off funds to the professor's department. That vote was vetoed by Governor Kathleen Sebelius. Ironically, this week the professor received a Teaching Excellence Award given by student athletes at the University of Kansas. But other students tell a far different story. They say Professor Daly presents sexual material in a graphic and offensive way, and some of his theories are off the chart. Joining us now from Kansas City is Jennifer, whose identity we are protecting. She took a class on incest taught by Dennis Daly. What was the name of that class, Jennifer?
It was interfamilial sexual abuse.
All right. And it was designed, I guess, to train social workers and psychologists, people who would go on, even MDs, to deal with this kind of a problem. So it's a worthy class. Now, what offended you about the class?
The first day of class, we were told to list all the different names that were for, that portrayed sex, the male and female body. In addition, Dr. Daly had told us that he was very attracted to some of the women in the class. He talked about the breast size, and he also stated that for the women to keep their legs close together because he liked looking up underneath their skirts.
Would he single out a woman and say, I like your parts of your anatomy?
He would do that, but I do not recall a specific person
so
that
he
did
was
that
just
to.
generally saying that some of the women in the class aroused him or whatever.
Correct, correct.
Right. Now, what about the incest situation? How did he deal with that?
He was obviously this class dealt with interfamilial sex, and he talked about the, well, first of all, he talked about that when he hugged his daughters, he would like to feel their tight bodies against his, that he ran around naked in the house. In addition, he talked about that it was society, it was law enforcement, it was social workers who made the child feel guilt, and it wasn't, and harmed them rather than the act itself.
So he was condoning incest, child molestation?
He said that was in the pedophile or the father, mother, that was in their attraction template. He said that they, you know, that was, to me, it was condoning that act. He did not say it was wrong. He said that it was in their attraction template, that it was society who was making it hard on the child rather than the act itself.
Now, what did you do when you heard that? That's pretty outrageous, number one. I mean, you know, academic freedom is one thing. Condoning child molestation and incest is quite something else. What did you do?
Well, I was appalled. You know, I did discuss it between some of my classmates. I went to, I believe it was Associate Dean at that time, and said, hey, you know, I'm very uncomfortable in this class. You know, this behavior does not work in the business world. Why, you know, why are you condoning this? Why are you letting this happen? And this person stated that, you know, she would protect me to go ahead and take the class, to finish it up, but she did not want it to affect my grade.
So she wasn't going to take any action against this guy?
No, absolutely not, because it was all under the umbrella of academic freedom, which to me, you know, if you have academic freedom, you have responsibility to your students to teach them how to get along in the world, and it does not.
Sure. I mean, look, if you're advocating a crime or justifying a crime, then you're over the line. Now, this has been going on for quite some time at the University of Kansas with this professor. He's not subtle. He's notorious. Everybody knows about it. The dean, the chancellor, and everybody else knows about it. Now, they continue to say that he is a responsible person, and how do you feel about that? This is your alma mater.
Oh, well, I'm ashamed about that. I won't let my kids go to KU. I will not support them in any way. I'm very disappointed, ashamed of the state of Kansas for giving funding for any type of pornographic behavior and illegal behavior.
Well, something may happen. I mean, the legislature is debating now another bill, but the governor obviously doesn't have any intent to stop this guy from doing what he wants to do. And I appreciate you coming on, and we want to explain we had to protect you because there are people in Kansas who want this guy to continue to run wild and do not like our reporting on it, and so we don't want to get anybody in trouble. Jennifer, we appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we will say on the story, this guy, you know, how much more evidence do you need? Plenty more ahead as the Factor moves along this evening. Sarah Jessica Parker in the middle of a controversy. She posed for these pictures shortly after giving birth to a baby boy, and some women are upset. And we'll have the latest on the white prom controversy in Georgia. We hope you stay tuned for those reports.
Did you want sprinkles on that?
Yeah, sprinkles would be great.
Lost your wallet? We'll help you replace any major credit card 24/7 when you carry American Express traveler's checks.
The scorching pain of heartburn. The difference you feel only with Gaviscon. It quickly forms a soothing, protective barrier that helps keep acid down for hours. For the relief you need, feel the soothing power of Gaviscon.
Let me sleep on it. Baby, baby, let me sleep on it. Let me sleep on it. I'll give you an answer in the morning. Let me sleep on it. Baby, baby, let me sleep on it. Let me sleep on it. I'll give you an answer in the morning. I gotta know right now. Do you sleep on it? Will you let me, baby, let me sleep?
Lastly, I've got an announcement that's going to make a lot of you happy. We're getting all new printers and all new copiers from a company called Kyocera Mida. Tell them why, Andy.
They're simple and easy to use. They're people-friendly.
You'll access everything from your desktop. Jen?
Because they're network friendly.
They produce brilliant color with a cost of ownership. Tom?
That's budget friendly.
People friendly copiers and printers only from Kyocera Mida.
Well, you know, smiling, baby. You need some
Fox News Channel, prime time. At 9, Saddam orders a brazen billion-dollar bank heist. Where's the money? Plus, did the French secretly assist his escape? Then at 10, Garrigo's PR crusade. Will his campaign to change Scott's image change the momentum of the case? Watch the #1 prime time on cable news. It's Hannity and Combs. Then go on the record. If you'd like to be a part of Dayside with Linda Vester, call us to order your free tickets. 877-FOX-TKTS. That's 877-369-8587.
In the personal story segment tonight, giving birth is traumatic for many women, and there are all kinds of repercussions and implications in the birthing process. Actress Sarah Jessica Parker gave birth to a baby boy 6 months ago and recently posed for these pictures in W magazine. Now, there's no question Miss Parker looks great, but some women are upset about the message the photos send. Joining us now from Boston is Dr. Elizabeth Torres, an assistant attending psychologist with Harvard Medical School who specializes in postpartum depression, among other things. All right, doctor, now the woman looks great. There's no question about it. And, you're going, whoa, is this now going to be put up to other women to try to emulate? Will people who can't snap back that quickly feel bad?
Well, it's not surprising that such unrealistic images are shown, like this, because isn't that how most images of women are shown? That most images of women are unrealistic. There's not a whole lot out there that shows what the rest of us, the majority of us, experience postpartum.
All right,
so it's not surprising.
When you say they're not realistic, they're realistic for her. I mean, Ms. Parker,
absolutely, absolutely.
And she even admits it. She says, this is an interesting quote, she says, I can afford a yoga teacher to come to my house. I can afford childcare so I can work out for an hour and a half every day. So she's not putting herself up as, the ideal of the working class American woman. However, I know a lot of women who are very self-conscious about their bodies after giving birth, and I'm just wondering whether this is a good thing for Jessica Parker to do.
Well, I think it's compelling. I think it's great, it's great advertisement, it's great exposure, it's all of those things. I think it is unfortunate. There's actually studies that show that women who are exposed to these kinds of fashion magazines, looking at this over time, have decreased satisfaction with their body image. I mean, it's just plain and simple that that is the case. And most women do not have really much representation anywhere that shows what it really looks like, what it looks like after you have a baby.
So you think this could be harmful to American women, seeing this kind of stuff, make them even more depressed about their situation?
Well, I think that I think it's hard because there isn't a whole lot out there that says what it looks like, what the normal is. So yes, I guess in some ways that is true, but I think that intellectually, a lot of women understand that this person does have, for example, the genes for this kind of a body.
All right, now, but intellectually and intellect and emotion, I mean, I think the problem here, and believe me, I am a barbarian in this area. I have no idea, and I admit
I trust you, I trust you.
I just don't know, and I'll never know, and there's no way I can know. But what I have observed is that emotion takes over during pregnancy, particularly right before and right after birth, and that women have all kinds of apprehensions about what they're going through. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I think it is very hard because it's the whole picture that we're talking about, that women don't understand what they're in for. They don't understand, for example, that they're going to bleed for weeks after they have a baby, that this weight sticks around, that all these things are the case, and then
don't their physicians tell them that, though? Don't their physicians prepare them for the trauma that happens?
Well, let's look at the fact that there's no well visits, no mental health well visits for mom after she has a baby. She gets one 15-minute visit 6 weeks after she has a baby, and that's the end of the story. Who's looking out for what's going on for the mom? I mean, that's just, we are on our own, and unfortunately, these images do impact women. And women who are already struggling, the statistics show us up to 20% of women have mood and anxiety disorders in the postpartum period. So that's 1 in 5 potentially.
So if you were advising Sarah Jessica Parker, would you have said, even though you look great, and even though these pictures are going to put you in the spotlight and give you publicity, you shouldn't do them? Would you have told her that?
Oh, I don't know that I would tell her not to do it. I guess my point, and what I keep trying to talk to women about, is thinking about whatever she looks like, you know, getting into whatever size dress she is, you know, it's a different story how she feels living in her own skin. And that's what women really have to think about. You know, we all have to wake up every day and feel good about what we're doing.
All
and
right.
that is what makes women look sexy, actually.
Okay. Doctor, thanks very much. We appreciate it. When we come right back, your humble correspondent, that's me, is being heavily criticized in Georgia for condemning that all-white prom. We'll talk to Neil Bortz, radio talk show host, who kind of worked me over today. He'll be here. We'll have an update on the situation next.
Easing up on Iraq. Good evening, everybody. I'm Lori Dew. The U.S. has suspended some sanctions against Iraq now that the Saddam regime is no more. President Bush made it official this evening, and he added that we will soon ask the UN to lift their sanctions against Iraq as well. It just may be the smoking gun. The Pentagon says it may have found evidence of an illegal weapons program in Iraq. More tests are being conducted on a trailer believed to be a mobile bioweapons lab. Early tests did not find any traces of chemicals used in banned weapons. It could be years before there is a safe vaccine against SARS. That is according to the National Institutes of Health. Meantime, doctors say containment is the best defense. The Department of Homeland Security is stepping up efforts to prevent SARS here in the U.S. Airport screeners are being trained to spot and detain people with symptoms of the highly contagious disease. And he may have been cleared of child porn charges, but guitarist Pete Townsend of The Who will be placed on a national registry of sex offenders in the UK. He was arrested in January after using his credit card to access a child pornography website. He claims he was just doing research for his autobiography. I'll have more headlines for you just after the top of the hour, but stay tuned. We'll have more of the O'Reilly Factor after this short break.
I wonder how our home equity loan's going.
I'll check.
Want banks to compete over you? Come to LendingTree.com. Fill out one form and get up to 4 offers within hours. When banks compete, you win at LendingTree.com.
Your home, it's so, interesting.
Oh, termites, they hate ice, so we redid the whole house. This is Kate.
Nice to meet you.
Here's a better idea. Call Terminix. More people trust our unlimited lifetime protection plan. 1-800-TERMINIX.
Horsepower V8. 0 to 60 in 6.42 seconds. The new Lincoln LS, the driver's luxury car. There are those who travel and those who travel well.
Of the Bahamas, only minutes from the U.S. And now, you'll save more than just travel time.
Something remarkable is at your fingertips. Now you can call anyone in America for 3 cents a minute, 39 cents to connect. And not only is it 3 cents anywhere in the U.S., but also to Canada and to Western Europe. Introducing 1010-987. There's no monthly fees, nothing to sign up for. All you do is dial 1010-987 so you can use it right now. Hey, a rate this low never went so far. 1010-987.
You're watching the #1 program on cable news. Enter the No Spin Zone on the O'Reilly Factor. The most powerful name in news. Fox News Channel.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Unresolved Problem segment tonight. As we told you at the top of the broadcast, a neo-Nazi group skewed our poll on the white prom that was held by students of Taylor County High School in Georgia. Obviously, this issue is explosive and has racial connotations all over the place. Now, I've been very critical of Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue for not taking aggressive action to condemn the all-white prom. Last night, the governor's spokesperson, Kim King, spun it this way. Why doesn't he go to that event? Why didn't he get out of the little mansion, into his limo, drive down to that event, stand there with those students and say, this is the right way to conduct
yourself? Well, I think what he's going to do instead is just to share his comments, and that's what I'm trying to do, is that he applauds those students who are going to have the integrated prom.
Well, let them get down there and
he is going to encourage the students who attended the exclusive prom to attend that one. The students who are hosting the integrated prom offer a great example.
Well, joining us now from Atlanta is Neil Bortz, who hosts a nationally syndicated radio program and who was critical of me today. So, Neil, I'm against the prom, and I'm for Georgia's elected officials speaking out against it, leadership, and you're on my case? What's that all about?
No, you're not. You're not for Georgia. You want Sonny Perdue to be on your timetable. I want to apologize to you for the people of Georgia because our governor did not make himself available to you whenever you deemed that to be necessary.
Don't give me. He had 5 days to make a comment. He could have talked to the Associated Press. He could have talked to you. He talks to nobody. He's hiding under his desk.
It's a
hiding under his desk
party. It's a private. I don't. You're spreading so much misinformation about this. I don't know whether you're doing it out of malice or out of ignorance. It's a private party, Bill. It wasn't a high school function.
Sorry, Neil, you are distorting and spinning. It was organized within the high school, okay? Everyone admits that. Everyone admits it. It was organized within the high school, and the only reason they took it out of the school is because they had federal civil rights situation to deal with if they put it in the school. It was organized within that high school. Everyone admits that.
There are 8,300 people that live in Taylor County, Georgia. The reason they go to Americus or to Columbus for these parties is because there's not one single facility in that city or in Butler, Georgia, where they could hold it. This party was no more organized in that school than was, hey, let's get together at the Dairy Queen this afternoon.
Who organized the party then?
The students did.
Oh, wait a minute. Where did they organize it?
Listen, as I said, Bill, now listen to me. If the students get together and they say, let's meet at the Dairy Queen this afternoon, and they meet at the Dairy Queen, and then somebody punches somebody out there, is that a fight that is sanctioned by the school because they agreed to meet there at the school?
Neil, look, if you want to live in the land of Oz, you feel free to do that. This was billed as a prom for the Taylor High School. It was organized within the school. They took it out of the school because it's against the law to do that on school property. They're having an integrated prom within the school, okay? And you ought to be at that prom, and so should the governor, to congratulate those kids. But look, let's move along here. You can't possibly, Neil, because I know you, you can't possibly think an all-white alternative prom is a good thing. You can't possibly think that.
It wasn't a prom. It was a private party, and the black students at this school had their private party too, which you seem to fail to mention every time you bring this up.
No, they did not. They did not have an organized function anywhere. That's another fallacious statement. You know, I'm really surprised. You're usually a straight guy. The blacks didn't have an all-black party, and you know it.
There is only one place in this country where this whole story is an issue at all. It's not a controversy in Georgia. It's not a controversy anywhere but on your show, and one might suspect that you're running to this to give you some cover maybe for this alleged hubcap incident that happened at your fundraiser.
You know, you're a vicious son of a saying that. You are. Because you know that's a fallacious story. No. And I'm going to bleep out my remark there, and I apologize for it. You're a vicious guy. No, you're a vicious guy, you know? You know that's a fallacious story. You're throwing that out to be, you know, to smear me, because all I object to is this kind of exclusion in a high school, all right? And you will do anything to justify it because you don't like the story.
You are looking to establish some sort of a credibility by going after a private party of the type that probably happened in the last couple of weeks in 8,000 high schools around this country.
It's unbelievable.
It's
unbelievable that you're condoning this. It really is, you know?
Oh,
I mean, we're all Americans here, and we're not supposed to be exclusionary, particularly in the educational process. And you're condoning this. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
This was not part of the educational process, Bill.
It was organized within the school. It's saying let me break this down so even you can understand it. It's saying to students in the Taylor School, you are not good enough to come to our party because you are black. That's what it's saying.
Let me ask you one more question before I get cut off here. Let's say that a guy asks a girl out for a date at school. Will you go out with me Friday night? She says, yes, I will. And on that date, there occurs maybe a date rape. Is the school responsible for that date rape, Bill? Because it was organized and planned within the school.
Right,
give
look,
me a break and give these kids
Neil,
a break.
I mean, I hope you realize how foolish that comparison is. I mean, here we have a situation where everybody in the school acknowledges it's not the right thing to do. It's the wrong thing to do. Yet the governor, the superintendent, the principal, no one will stand up and say, this is not what we're about in Georgia. See, I don't believe that Georgians approve of this. And the tortured logic to rationalize the fact that it took place offends me as an American. What don't you get about the United States, Neil? We're supposed to be encouraging people to be all together in the war on terror and everything else. And by using tortured logic to justify this, it demeans you.
And what part of freedom of association escapes your great intellect, Bill?
Yeah. Freedom of association is fine outside of a school process. This was organized within the school for the sole purpose of excluding black students. It's a disgrace. But I'm going to give you the last word. Go ahead.
Oh, no, Bill, that's okay. I just again want to apologize on behalf of the people of Georgia because our governor hasn't made himself available to you at your insistence and on your demand.
All right, Neil Bortz, there you go. In a moment, the silent war on terror. Can America defeat the drug cartels? We'll talk to a guy who went inside the Cali cartel in a moment.
This program is brought to you by Merrill Lynch. We see your financial life in total. Total Merrill from Merrill Lynch.
Oh, well, we've worked too long and hard to let a bad market postpone our retirement.
Will you have enough income to maintain your lifestyle?
We've done the proper planning.
Yes. Oh, a Merrill Lynch financial advisor is looking beyond 401ks and IRAs to mortgages, insurance.
Protected growth investments.
These days you have to.
Are you confident with Merrill Lynch?
You bet.
Most definitely.
Introducing Total Merrill. We see your financial life in total.
Cheerios and strawberries have finally gotten together. New Berry Burst Cheerios. Real strawberries, together with those classic O's. For a taste you can really fall in love with. New Berry Burst Cheerios in both strawberry and triple berry.
Homeowners thinking about refinancing? Don't go back to square one with another 30-year program. Get ahead of the game. HMS Capital can remove years of payments from your existing mortgage with a 25, 20, 15, even 10-year loan program. No points, no fees. It costs nothing to apply.
Hi, my name is Mark Tice, president of HMS Capital. My offer is simple. Refinance your existing home loan and not $1 will come out of your pocket or be added to your existing loan balance.
Who are we on the phone with for so long?
Kelly.
Kelly, who lives in New Jersey, Kelly?
Yeah.
For 2 hours?
Yeah.
I didn't get to say hi.
Say goodbye to worrying about long-distance bills.
Call her back.
Say hello to all distance service. Unlimited nationwide long distance plus local service, voicemail, caller ID, and more. All for $48.95 a month. Our lowest price ever.
Thinking about buying a dish. Well, this is what can happen when it rains. This is what can happen when it snows. This is what can happen when the wind blows too hard. Sometimes this is what can happen for what seems like no reason at all. Get the picture? Satellite TV isn't all it's dished up to be.
True Value makes you feel at home, wherever your home may be.
Register to win a $50 True Value gift certificate for Mom. See participating stores for details. Be sure to pick up the May bargain of the month. Get a Green Thumb 4-piece garden tool set for just $9.99. True Value. Help is just around the corner.
In the back of the book segment tonight, a new book out called Without a Badge, written by police officer Jerry Spezial, who infiltrated the Cali drug cartel in Colombia, one of the few U.S. lawmen to ever do that. Mr. Spezial is currently the sheriff of Passaic County, New Jersey, and he joins us now. You know, that Cali cartel, I mean, they'll cut your head off without blinking.
Absolutely.
You know, and not only your head, but your family and everybody else. I mean, those are the most brutal people in the Western Hemisphere, I believe. Am I wrong?
Yes, they are. They are very, very mean-spirited people.
And if they caught you down there, because you were actually down there, correct?
That's correct.
I mean, not only would they kill you, but they would torture you in a way that's almost... Now, was that in your mind?
You know what? You ran on the adrenaline. You had to believe in the part you were playing, and you never really looked at the fear factor.
Never? You never thought about it?
No, you really didn't.
And you set yourself up as what?
I set myself up as a transporter. I was someone that was like the FedEx of the drug business for them. We would move their drugs from point A to point B.
So you'd move it from Bogota to where?
No, we would move it mostly from Central America. We would set up landing strips in Central America and different
Panama,
countries.
where?
Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala.
All right, so that's where you met your Colombian intermediaries?
Actually, we would meet them here. We'd meet them here, and then we would go down and we would set up import and export companies so that we could meet with them, show them that we had ways to ship their commodities out of these countries.
Mm-hmm.
We would then set up landing strips. They would fly the cocaine into the locations where we had set up. And we'd pretty much bring it back here to the United States. And then once we turned it over to the people that were supposed to receive it, we would work on them with wiretaps and take them down.
Right, so you would arrest people and then try to get a wider net. Mm-hmm. Now, this has been going on, and I call it a game, and I really believe it is, for decades.
Absolutely.
And the Cali cartel and the drug lords in Colombia still exist. Mm-hmm. The billions of dollars they make still happen. Is there any way to defeat these people?
Sure there is. I mean, with any war, you have to fund it. This is a war that has never been funded.
But give me a strategy. I mean, I'm not giving you the dough until you give me a strategy.
Give you a strategy the same way we went into Panama when we knew Manuel Noriega was funneling drugs through Panama to the United States.
So you go in with the U.S. Special Forces and attack these guys?
Absolutely.
Because the Colombian government at this point would welcome that.
Absolutely. The Colombian government with the new president, President Uribe,
they want U.S. Special Forces in there. So why don't we do it?
I think there's a lot of bureaucratic stuff that holds us back from doing that. You know, there's this fight in the drug war, but yet we don't fund the drug war. We have administrators that come in, and one day there's an operation to go after kingpins. The next day there's an operation like Snowcap.
Yeah, they change.
It changes every couple of years.
Now, the argument against confronting the cartels, and I believe the cartels are terrorists, because a lot of that money goes to other people, and they undermine governments, and they do ship weapons all over the place, and all of these people know each other. But the other is, look, the American demand drives the market. If nobody here were using the cocaine and the heroin, we wouldn't have the problem, and the United States won't confront the problem at home. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's a legitimate argument to be made there.
Absolutely. I think there is a problem on the demand side, and we have to increase our enforcement efforts as we have here under the Giuliani administration. We had operations that were going block by block through New York City.
Right.
And that was somewhat of a successful operation where we were taking block by block and shutting operations down that were funneling to the street. But we also have to look at education.
Yeah, but education can only go so far because there are so many people that are so screwed up. Mm-hmm. They're going to just use the drugs. They're going to, what they call it, self-medicate. They're self-destructive. Mm-hmm. They're going to do it no matter how many slides you show them in the 5th grade. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, by all accounts, the drug problem is diminishing a little bit. But I bet you out in Passaic County, where you are, that drives most of the crime, doesn't it?
Sure, drugs drive the crime, I think, just about everywhere in the country. You know, there's drugs behind most of our crime.
Yeah, 70% it's estimated of street crime, burglaries, car thefts, all of that is caused by drug-addicted people.
Without a doubt. And that's why, if you're going to do this, you have to do it at every level. You can't just do it and go after the kingpins. You have to go after the mid-level. You have to go after the buyers. You have to stop that demand.
All right. Now, last question. The Mexico, Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, Honduras, I mean, these cartels can buy their way in there. These people are poor. They can bribe everybody. So I'm saying to you, listen, we're never going to beat these guys because they just bribe their way in and out of everything, and they have territories, and we can't invade Mexico, you know?
Well, we can't invade these countries, but you know what we can do? We can cut the economic aid that we supply to these countries.
They never do it.
Well, that's the political side.
Right. They
That's
would
a
never,
political
ever,
sign.
they wouldn't even seal the border.
Yeah, but if we're really looking to have this war, that's what we need to do.
They're not.
Yeah?
They don't care.
Because this is a form of terrorism that's against our country already.
Was there any one time you thought you were going to get killed by the Collie guys?
There was a couple close calls that were there. Yeah, there were a couple close calls. One time I was in a bar and one of the backup teams followed me a little bit too close, and I had used the car the week before and knew the plate number. While we were sitting down in a bar talking to each other, going over the deal, his bodyguard slid a napkin across the table with my plate on it, and that's who it was.
Oh, yeah? But you got out of it, and it's a very interesting book. Chief, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a moment with the ridiculous item in your mail.
And Hannity and Combs is coming up next. Senator Robert Byrd is lashing out at President Bush for his speech on the USS Abraham Lincoln. Can the president do anything without the Democrats going after him? And a huge find in Iraq. The Pentagon says they have found what they think is a mobile bioweapons lab. Is this proof? And what everybody's been looking for? Also, author Norman Mailer is here. Does he really think the U.S. went to war to boost the morale of the white male in America? Can you believe that? Straight ahead.
Automobile Magazine All-Star, 5 years in a row.
Since the current BMW 5 Series was first introduced, we've found very little to improve on.
Winner, $35,000 to $40,000 category, AAA Auto Guide.
And apparently, many others would agree. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
We are a nation of shareholders. We invest in homes, futures. We invest in America. That's why the New York Stock Exchange is here. So every shareholder can invest with confidence in the world's best companies. Companies that choose to meet the highest standards of any marketplace.
Winning a gold medal in any field makes a bold statement. That's why we're proud to announce that Smart Balance Buttery Spreads have been judged the best tasting in the soft vegetable spread category by the American Tasting Institute. Smart Balance helps to improve the ratio of good to bad cholesterol with no trans fatty acids and no hydrogenated oil. It has the right balance of fats you want in your diet. Use Smart Balance Buttery Spreads, the sensational taste for healthy eating.
Where do you get your pet's flea, tick, and heartworm medications?
Oh, what a hassle. I take the dog, drive to the vet's office, then sit and wait.
I just call 1-800-PET-MEDS, and my pet's medications are delivered right to my door.
Wow, I paid a lot at the vet's office.
And I paid a lot less.
1-800-PET-MEDS guarantees the lowest price on all your pet's medications. Order now and receive free shipping.
Time now for the most ridiculous item of the day. As we predicted, the Madonna album is, well, not exploding. It debuted at #1 but was heavily discounted. Now Roger Friedman of FoxNews.com reports the album has tanked in its second week. Also, Madonna appeared on Dateline and tanked in the ratings over there. Now, we take no delight that Madonna's not doing well. However, we have some advice that might help. Drop the English accent, Madonna, if you're from Detroit. No way that advice is ridiculous. Finally tonight, the Mail, predictably tons of it in a white prom situation. I'm sure we'll get more tonight. Keith Anderson, Montmorency, South Carolina. O'Reilly, I used to be a fan of yours, but now you are sounding more like Jesse Jackson every day. Lee Docterman, Gaithersburg, Maryland. Governor Purdue's press secretary Kim King was spinning so fast I got dizzy. She sounded like a robot. She sounded like a robot, not you. That's my typo, I'm sorry. Dick White, Mesquite, Nevada. Bill, you were way out of line last night with Miss King. At what point did you become so omnipotent that only you know the correct way to deal with prom night? Irma Robinson, Marysville, California, is an African-American. I am offended that Governor Perdue used an African-American woman to defend behavior damaging to her race. Tula Vettalaro, Roswell, Georgia. Mr. O'Reilly, your prejudice toward the South spawned from your New York upbringing and Boston education came through loud and clear on this issue. John Craig, Thomasville, Georgia. Bill, thank you for trying to be fair. We Georgians, at least most of us, know what the word united means. John Bracewell, Atlanta. O'Reilly, you owe Kim King an apology. She was put on the firing line by the governor, and you took your aggression out on her. I made her answer the questions, Mr. Bracewell, same as I do with every guest. Peter Ferrari, Rochester, New York. The Georgia governor's absence of opinion on this matter is negligent. Becky Fields, Cumming, Georgia. Bill, do you actually think that you're so important that a governor should get back to you? What an inflated ego you have. Just for the record, Ms. Fields, Governor Perdue got back to no one. Sarah Pittman, Figgins, Plainfield, Illinois. Post-traumatic slavery disorder? Give me a break. I am overweight and experience prejudice every day. Can I have a traumatic disorder myself? George Huggins, Laughlin, Nevada. As a Native American, I suffer from post-traumatic reservation disorder. Maggie Eilers, San Antonio, Texas. No disorders for me. I'm a single mom who raised 3 children and never gave up. I put myself through school, and I'm now a nurse. You are absolutely right, Bill. All this stuff gives people an excuse to fail. Mark Jarman, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If Patricia Ireland is qualified to run the YWCA because she's a female, then I must be qualified to run Microsoft because I own a computer. John Reed, Baghdad, Iraq. Mr. O'Reilly, I don't have anything pithy to say except I miss watching The Factor. All of us stationed here near the airport send our best, and if you're ever in the area, please stop by and say hello. Well, I will indeed, John. Stay safe. And get on that website if you want to. I got a great tip for Father's Day. Factor windbreakers. They're really sharp, they're macho, and you'll like them. All right, you can get them there. And then you can go to BillO'Reilly.com and call me all the names you want. Okay? www. Oh, and we want you to email us, and you can call me names there. Just names keep flying. www.foxnews. No, O'Reilly@foxnews.com. I'm delirious. O'Reilly@foxnews.com. I got it. All right. That's it for us today. As always, thank you for watching The Factor. Hannity and Combs is next. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you again next time. And remember, to spin does indeed stop here.
Welcome to Hannity.